Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to create a brochure in Microsoft 2010. The brochure will be made in Word 2010, but the task can also perfectly be accomplished in Word 2007. While Word 2010 isn't primarily meant for desktop publishing, you can accomplish a lot with this software. The brochure is a so-called trifold brochure, in other words folded in three. We start with a new document and make sure we're in the so-called A4 format. We can adjust the format to A4 by clicking Page Layout and then Size and then click on A4. While in the page layout section we can also change two other things, page orientation and margins. We click on orientation and change it to landscape. Then we click on margins and custom margins. I change left, right, top and bottom to 1.5 centimeter to create more room. Some printers don't allow this margin. In that case set the four margins to 2 centimeters. 1.5 centimeter. Oh, it's a comma. And then I click OK. We now have one A4 in landscape orientation with the margins set to 1.5 centimeter. For a trifold brochure we need two A4s with 3 columns on each A4. Let's create that. Click in Page Layout on Columns and then More Columns. Click on 3 to create 3 columns, and we can also adjust the space between the columns, also known as gutter. And I increase the space to 2 centimeters. After this, click OK. We can see the columns in the ruler, at least when you have enabled the ruler. And this can be done in the View section by clicking on Ruler. In the document, however, the columns are not visible. Let's make them visible here. Click on File, Options, and then Advanced. And scroll down until we reach Show Text Boundaries. And when we click that and OK, we can see the columns. Because Word 2010 is a word processor and not a desktop publishing application, it's not possible to place the cursor in columns 2 or 3. But with a simple adjustment it can be done. Click on Page Layout, Breaks and then Column. And the cursor jumps to the second column. Repeat the procedure and the cursor jumps to the third column. And now when we repeat the procedure again, a new A4 with 3 columns is created. Repeat the procedure until the cursor has landed in the last column, column 6. That's column 5. And finally column 6. And now we can jump back and forth between all 6 columns. Now there is one step to do before the foundation of the brochure is ready. Make sure that the cursor is in column 6, the last column, and then click a couple of times on the Enter button. until the cursor is in the bottom of the column. That's here. Then jump to column 5 and repeat the procedure. And the same for the columns 4, 3, 2 and 1. The reason that we do that is that we can reach every position in all 6 columns. Column 3, two, and finally column 1. And now we can jump with the cursor to every position in all columns. The foundation of the brochure is now ready, and it's wise to save the documents before we proceed. And I'll call him brochure 2010. When we save the document as Word template, that's here, we can use it for the creation of all our future brochures. We have 2 A4s with 3 columns on each of them. And before starting with the content, we must know which column appears where in the brochure. And here is the scheme. This is A4-1 and this is A4-2. Column 3 on A4-1 is the front side of the brochure. Column 2 is the back side, and column 1 is the so-called inside flap. A4-2 is all about the inside of the brochure. And we start the creation process with the inside, and that is A4-2. I switch to the second A4 and decrease the zoom level a little so that I can see all 3 columns. On top we first place a row of images. With a desktop publishing program this is a piece of cake. With Microsoft Word things go a little differently. The best way to do it is draw a large text box and drop the images in it. And let's do that. We click on Insert, Text Box, and then Draw Text Box, and we then draw a text box that spans the width of all 3 columns. And here it is. I can see that the text box has a so-called internal margin. I want to get rid of that. I click on the edge and then right click, Format Shape, Text Box, and here we can adjust the internal margin. And all 4 I set them on 0. Okay, the internal margin has now gone. And when I click again right, I can click on Set as Default Text Box, and now every text box that I draw has no internal margins. We click in the text box and then click Insert Picture, and now I can insert the first picture. The image is placed in the text box and is automatically scaled to the height of the text box. We click next to the image in the white space and repeat the process. And here is the second image. And again click in the white space and this one. This image is smaller than the text box. We can increase it by dragging the corner. And we can also adjust the height. When images are not aligned perfectly, we can fix that by dragging the side handles. Or this one. And so we can adjust it just the way we want. This part of the inside is ready. We proceed with the text. It's handy to place text in separate text boxes and then link them. Let's create a couple of text boxes. I first make sure that the draw text box command, that's this one, appears in the quick access toolbar because it's so often used. Right click on the command and then choose Add to Quick Access Toolbar. And now it's here and we can quickly draw text boxes. And I draw 4 text boxes with some space between 2 and 3 to insert a graphic. Here is the first one. And here is number 2. Text boxes can be rescaled later, so it's no problem when they don't have the right proportions yet. Text box 3, and finally text box 4. Before I'm going to link the text boxes, I'm going to insert the text. For this brochure I'm using some dummy text. I place the cursor in the first text box and then paste the text. I've inserted a lot of text, but it only seems to appear in text box 1. And that's because they are not linked yet. Let's do that. To link text boxes, click in the first text box and then create link. Then move the cursor to the second text box. The mouse pointer changes to a cup containing a downward pointing arrow. Click again and the 2 text boxes are linked. We repeat the procedure for linking text box 2 and 3. We click in 2, create link, and then click text box 3, and finally we create a link from text box 3 to 4. Click, create link, and click again. And all text boxes are now linked and text flows from 1 to 4. Now we're gonna create a couple of headers. I set the zoom level back to 100% and click left top in the first column and then enter to make some room for the header. And then I type in the header, help your child succeed at school. To make it a little more professional, we are applying a style to the header. Place the cursor in the header and then click Home tab, and here we have a whole bunch of styles. And I can directly see the result. I like this one and I click him. But I don't want the text to be indented, and I can change that by clicking decrease indent. Okay, that's perfect. I also increase the font size for the header to 13 by selecting the whole header and then adjusting 13. The header is fine now. Let's save the style as a new one by opening up styles and then save selection as a new quick style. And I call this one Viking 01. OK. And now my style is saved and I can reuse him in other headers. Let's create a couple of headers and apply Viking 01 to them. So what to do? Click in the header, open up, and here is Viking 01 and it's applied. And here another header. Which school is the right one? Viking 01. And here school stuff, and the last one, develop a relationship. Text and headers are ready, except for this spacing. To finish off the inside of the brochure, I'm going to place a graphic between text box 2 and 3. I click on Draw Text Box, and then I click Insert, Smart Art, and I click on a graphic that then will be inserted. Okay, that's fine. The inside of the brochure is ready. Let's proceed with the other parts, starting with the front side of the brochure. The front side of the brochure is column 3 of the first A4. The front side consists of a rectangular colored text box with the title of the brochure, an image below, and some teasing text below that. We start with drawing the text boxes. And this one is for the title, and the second one for the image, and finally the last one for the teasing text. I found a suitable image and insert it by clicking in the text box and then insert picture and insert, and then I rescale it a little. I bring back the zoom level to 100%. Okay, that's fine. I want the top text box to have the same color as the question mark. Click in the text box and then Format. And in Shape Styles we can select the style that we want. Okay, let's do this one. Now I click outside the text box and then draw text box to draw a new one in the other one. And here I type in all about your first year at school. I select the text, home, and I adjust font and font size. And finally I center the text. Then I click in the text box, Format, Shape Fill and Gradient. And now I can select a gradient. Okay, let's do this one. That's fine. And now for the teasing text. It's this one. I draw new text box. And type in avoid nightmares. Select the text and change font and font size. And center the text. And the front side of our brochure is ready. We continue with the back side, and that is column 2. Here some contact information will be displayed. On top we place an image first, and of course with a text box. And in the text box we insert the image, and there it goes, and we adjust it a little. Okay, perfect. In the bottom of the image I want a partly transparent rectangle with Contact Us in it. Okay, first back to 100%. And then I draw a new text box. Something like this. And give it the color red. Now I want to make it partly transparent, but how do I do that? We click in the text box to select it, and then we right click on the edge, Format, Shape, and in the Fill section we can adjust the transparency. And I'll make it 27%, and we click close. And then I draw a new text box in the middle of the other one, and type in uppercase contact us. Increase font and font size. Yes, and change the dimensions of the text box a little and drag it a little down. OK. And now I want to get rid of the white shape fill. Click in the text box, Format, Shape Fill, No Fill, and Shape Outline, No Outline. And now it's perfect. And finally I draw a new text box and paste in the contact information. And the backside of the brochure is also ready. All that's left to do is the inside flap. On the inside flap some short testimonies will be placed. I click on Draw Text Box, and here it goes, and I insert the testimonies, and there they are. And on top I draw finally another text box and give it color red and maybe some variation, something like this. And in it I draw another one and type in some testimonies with so, and a little adjustment, a little decrease. Okay. Some last cosmetic adjustments, shape fill, no fill, and here shape fill, so perfect. Front side, back side and inside flap are ready, and also is the complete inside of the brochure. The brochure is ready. All that's left to do is print it. We have two A4s. This is one and this is two. And we have to print them on one A4. and how that's to be done is a little printer dependable. On my printer it goes as follows. I first print the second A4, the inside, then I flip it and rotate the paper 180 degrees. I place it back in the printer on top and then print A4-1. That is this one. And when everything goes well, I have my brochure as it should be. And then I can fold it in 3. Often the first time fails, but the second time is successful. A thing to consider with a brochure with images is the use of some heavier paper. Normal paper weight size where I live is 80 grams, but for brochures with images I often use 120 grams. And here is my brochure, folded in 3 and printed. Thanks for watching this video and good luck with creating a great brochure in Microsoft Word.